What's up everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and we're doing another video in our Everyday Carry series. Today we're talking about self-defense knives. This is the KaBar TDI knife, and I just want to say a few things as we open up. The first thing is to note that self-defense knives ask a question without speaking. They ask the question, are you really ready to use a knife in self-defense? Now, when I ask that question, there's going to be a lot of tough guys who are like, absolutely, no doubt, but just spend some time really thinking about that. So if you're thinking, you know, in all circumstances, I am totally happy to draw a knife and to use it against another human being. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but you got to think it through. Okay, so just food for thought. What I'll tell you about these knives is that they are built with the purpose of slashing and cutting, particularly in a self-defense situation. Now, these are a lot of these knives are built for personal self-defense, you know, for the average Joe out there, but also there's knives that are built like this TDI for law enforcement, military, and other people who are serving and protecting, you know, our countries, our communities, things like that. All right, so let's jump into the knives and take a look at some of them. These are also knives that are going to be useful for EDC depending on the setup. Some of them are more useful, some of them are less useful, at least in my opinion. And also just general use. I've seen actually people use the TDI as a backup knife while out camping. So they've got their main fixed blade and then this for doing some more detailed tasks, skinning and gutting and stuff like that. All right, so let's take a look at the knives. Since we just mentioned it, let's start by looking at the KaBar TDI. So this is going to run you, you know, $40 to $50, give or take. And the idea behind this knife is that it's a backup knife and really a self-defense knife built primarily, at least in the original you know, construction process, for law enforcement, military. This is meant to be a weak side knife. So what you have is a sheath like this, and you actually wear this inside your belt, and I'll show you a clip right here what that actually looks like. But the concept is, if I'm standing facing you and I'm a right-handed person, I've got my pistol on my right hand, and someone is going after my you know, after my pistol, and so I'm using my hand, my right hand, to keep them away, or even my left hand, whatever it is, you can use either one. I can use my opposite hand to reach and draw this knife out to get them away from me or get them away from my weapon. So again, the concept is, if I have to use one hand, or you know, part of my effort's going to be keeping this person away from getting my weapon, now I have my other hand that's free and I can draw this weapon out. So you can hold it like this. So let me show you again. You can hold it like this, super ergonomic. You can hold it like this. You can hold it right-handed. You can hold it left-handed, in a variety of different positions. Again, the idea is that, you know, if I'm holding on to somebody here, trying to keep them away from grabbing my pistol, I take this out and I could really cut and slash to get that person away, so that I could, you know, get a hold of the situation so they weren't kind of overtaking me. Now again, as I mentioned right in the intro, I've seen people use this knife as a secondary knife for camping, for just being out in the woods, general use. It is super ergonomic. I mean, this is one of those knives that when you hold it, you're like, yep, they like took somebody's hand, you know, basically took a mold of exactly where the hand fell, where it was most comfortable, and that's how it works. For me, because my hand is slightly larger, I could use the handle to be a little bit thicker, maybe a tiny bit longer, but still, even without, this knife is very, very comfortable. Again, this is made to be worn inside the belt. So you're gonna, you know, basically this is gonna be facing out, but you could wear it the other way if you really wanted to. It's not necessarily built to do that, but you could do it if you wanted to. This comes in, they have this with the black handle and the black blade. You can get it with a serrated blade, you can get it with a brown handle, so a couple different options. But this knife has been popular amongst people who are looking for a small, compact, and where necessary, concealable self-defense knife. Next up here we have the Bear Claw from CRKT. So this is actually one of the first knives I ever owned. You can see, maybe you can see it there, there's a little bit of rust actually, yeah, down there on the blade, even on the back side. I've had this for quite a long time. I actually got this just because I thought it was a cool knife and I wanted a knife for camping, and then as I learned more about knives, I was like, yeah, this is not the best thing when it comes to, you know, a knife to do fine tasks. This knife was really built to be a self-defense tool. So here's your sheath. That's what it looks like. So you could run it on a belt. There's lots of holes to strap it to gear. You know, you could certainly put this in a pocket. You could put it, if you're a woman, you could put it in a purse. The idea is similar to the TDI. You're gonna draw this thing, and I mean, just look at the serrations there, look at the shape of it. This thing is just made to slash. If I remember the story correctly, this was originally designed, let me just look here, right here. Russ Comer, I think it's Comer, K-O-M-M-E-R, in Alaska, I believe designed this for his daughter or a female friend of his who he wanted to have a weapon or a knife on them for self-defense. So the idea is, get this out, you know, and if you slash, you can definitely get somebody away from you and keep yourself safe. Again, like the TDI, very ergonomic, falls into hand. I put this little lanyard on it just for kicks, but you know, you can lock your hand in even more securely with that. They do make this, CRKT makes it with a blaze orange handle and also with a blunt tip, so that you can use it as a you know, a knife when you're out canoeing, rafting, around boats, you know, maybe whitewater rafting. If you're a guide or something, you can have a good knife that's in a sheath but doesn't have that very sharp tip on it. So very, very aggressive, as you can see. And here's how it falls in the hand. Boom, like that. So yeah, again, I've had this for a long time. It's still very, very sharp, and the way it's made holds very comfortably there. You got some jimping on top. There is even jimping on the top there as well. You know, so a couple different ways you could hold it. There's jimping underneath there, and it locks in very securely. The CRKT Bear Claw. Next up here we have the SOG Pentagon Mini. So that's what it looks like. Plain edge on one side, serrated on the other side. This looks kind of like serrations, but it's actually just texturing there. You hold this knife, and as soon as you pick it up, you just think that's really, really comfortable. A couple interesting things about this knife: more connected to the sheath than anything. So it does come with, you know, your standard ball and chain, so you could run it around your neck. It is quite big. I mean, I'll take the ball and chain out. Take a look real quick here. If you ran it as a neck knife, I mean, that thing it's big. It's very large as a neck knife. So it can be run. You've got a clip here, so you could run it you know, on the outside of a belt, but again, in general, this is made to run inside a belt. The knife itself, good looking, very comfortable in hand. Here's a couple different angles just so you can see what that looks like. So honestly, I do feel like it's nice. It's a very comfortable knife to hold. The main thing I'm kind of about is the sheath system here. So I haven't had it come out, you know, shaking it, and there's no rattle whatsoever, but the sheath is just, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if they made it like maybe more lightweight material. You can see how much it bends there, both sides. This side a little bit less, I guess. But it just doesn't feel like it's super high quality sheath. Now that could be because when you run it up against your body, they want it to have a little bit more flex, as opposed to being like really stiff kydex that people might find uncomfortable. But I'll show you what it looks like to actually, you know, run it in the sheath and inside my waistband, or inside my belt and waistband, so you can actually see what that looks like. But it is definitely ergonomic, comfortable, and I just was kind of flipping it around and holding it. I wouldn't call this a general utility knife. I think the TDI could be used, the KaBar TDI could be used as a utility knife in general. This one with the double edge, just, I don't think so much. Something you want to be really aware of is also, you know, is two edges legal in your area? So a lot of knife companies, when they're making knives that are sort of like this, they'll put a fake edge on the back, so it's not really a double-edged weapon. You know, is it a dagger officially? What is it officially called by your state regulations? So just keep that in mind. Now, of course, you'd have a shirt over top of this so that nobody could see it, or, you know, you'd basically have it a little bit more hidden. But obviously I want to show you what it's like to carry it and then actually draw it from the sheath. The hook on the bottom of this, you want to make sure that's actually underneath the belt, so that you don't pull the whole sheath out. If it's not underneath the belt, you're gonna go like this, which is not helpful. Here's what it's like though. Okay, we got 4 more knives to talk about. 2 we're gonna talk about pretty much at the same time. These are from Gerber. This is the Ghost Strike fixed blade knife. Here's the sheath system that it comes in. Really cool. The knife will go in either this way or this way, so you don't have to worry about how you align it when you put it in. You can run it through a belt. This is great for if you want to basically run it, you know, along the small of your back. You can reorient these clips so you can run it vertically, horizontally. You can take the clips off and run paracord through it if you want to, through the holes, if you want to run it as a neck knife. It is not sharpened on both sides, so it's a small fixed blade. Very comfortable, skeletonized, this rubber overmold there. So I really like this one. This came out a couple years ago. It's a cool little EDC knife. It's not super strong. It's not something you're gonna be doing batoning with, but as far as a little EDC knife, a little fixed blade, I think this is a really cool option, and the sheath system is really nice as well. You can also get a sheath system that'll give you a neoprene ankle wrap so you can wear it on your ankle. Now, I'm talking about this Ghost Strike, but I've also got this Ghost Strike on me as well here. This is the Ghost Strike punch knife. This also has a single edge, so it's not, this is just a flat back there. So single edge, so that does deal with some of the restrictions that you may have to, you know, deal with in various states and stuff. You can see, man, you just hold this thing, self-defense tool, cutting. You could certainly hold it like this and do some tasks with it. You don't want to do heavy cutting with it. It's just definitely not built for that. Show you the sheath system here, similar to the other one. Put it in that way, spin it around, put it in the other way, and here's what it looks like actually resting. Pull it up a little bit so you can see. So I usually wear a neck knife down a little bit lower, but that thing, I mean, it comes out quickly. I put paracord on it because I'm not using it as a self-defense knife. If I was using it as a self-defense knife, I definitely want some sort of breakaway chain. Rubber overmold there. Again, comfortable, not super expensive, lightweight. So here you go, the punch knife and then the fixed blade, both from the Gerber Ghost Strike series. All right, last two knives, both from CRKT. This first one is the Clever Girl. This thing is beautiful. When I saw this at SHOT Show 2016, I was like, I can't wait to get a hold of this. Now, this knife has a very cool sheath system. Does come with a Blade Tech lock, and I was messing around with this the other day. So I like to have the lock on the bottom. The way you put the knife on, it's just easier for me to, run it down like this and clip it like that and lock it in. One thing I will tell you is that they did not build the holes on the sheath to align perfectly to all the different setups that you might want to run with the Blade Tech lock. So this is how I would run it, like this. You can run it horizontally, you can run it at different angles, but you really got to fiddle with the blades to make sure, or fiddle with the holes and then the tech lock to get it lined properly. So the name Clever Girl, you probably know, is from Jurassic Park, and very Persian looking blade, big sweep there. Still a lot of point. So this was designed by a veteran, and this is part of their program where every knife they sell, they actually give money back to CRKT gets a cut, the veteran gets a cut, and then the veteran has a organization of choice that they can give a donation to, or part of the money, I should say, from the sale goes to that. So this is is a production model of a custom knife that was designed by a U.S. military veteran. Austin McGlawn is the designer. I'll just show you right there. You can see his little logo design there. Anyhow, cool knife. I mean, again, I saw this knife and I'm like, it's just really a beautiful design. I like that Persian style with that big sweeping blade. Would you use this as a knife in the woods? Probably not. Could you use it? Yeah, if you're cutting down on this portion, you can do some whittling and some smaller tasks with it. But this is definitely not going to be like a bushcrafting knife. It's definitely still built to be a self-defense knife, and that was the concept. Last knife here, the Shizuka No Ken, and we're going to finish up talking about this knife and this video just in time. A huge storm is just about to roll in here out in New Hampshire. So he's got a bunch of different designs similar to this style, some bigger, smaller, a couple different tweaks. This one is very, very comfortable. I was messing around with the other day, reverse grip, your standard grip. I mean, they're just very, very comfortable in hand. Definitely a blade. Let me just change the angle here so you can see it. That is a tip and a blade for piercing. That is what it's built to do. So it's got some cool design on the back there. It says Shizuka No Ken. It does have it's built with a frame lock. So you can see that on the back, and it also has a thumb plate for deployment, and then it has the locking system. So slide this little mechanism forward, and now you can't push the frame out of the way. This knife is small enough when you fold it up that you definitely could EDC it without getting a lot of attention. I mean, it's compact, it's kind of very rectangular, square looking, very comfortable handles, I will say. But when you take it out, you may have some people look, because it does look a little bit more aggressive than your standard pocket knife. But it doesn't look like a huge honking aggressive self-defense knife. So if you like this style but maybe you want something a little different, maybe a little bigger, whatever it is, CRKT has a bunch of them that have been built by, or designed by, James Williams, I should say. And I've liked this one. This is definitely going to be rolled more and more into my EDC setup, and I'll be letting you know more about this as I use it in the future and kind of reporting in. All right, the storm is just about to hit, but there you have it, a rundown of some self-defense knives. Let's hear from you. If you carry a knife like this, or maybe a little different, what are you carrying? Why are you carrying it? Tell us the reasoning, the thinking behind it. And specifically, if you're in law enforcement or military, let us hear from you. What have you chosen, and why are you actually using that knife? Because you're out there protecting and serving every day. So let's hear from people who are doing that, why you've made the selection you have. Rain's starting to fall, and that's pretty much it from here. So thanks for checking out the video. More videos coming soon. Please click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Links to all these knives are down below. Thanks for checking out this video. Take care. I told you a storm was coming.